Hey guys, this is Salty, and in this video I will be talking about each of the different healer specializations and ranking them according to how difficult they are to play in the War Within. Okay, let's kick things off by taking a look at Mistweaver Monk. Has excellent burst AoE healing, a versatile healer. They can be talented into either strong tank healing or group healing. Damage abilities convert into AoE thanks to a variety of talents. This may or may not be confusing for newer players. Has strong crowd control abilities and excellent mobility, which makes it easy for Mistweaver Monk to step out of the chaos for a moment to pump some heals into the tank and other party members. Mana management can be tricky for newer players to pick up, and there is quite a bit to think about to heal effectively, more so than some of the other healing specializations. Overall, not the hardest and not the easiest healer to play. I feel pretty comfortable placing Mistweaver in the middle of the pack here on the B tier. Okay, and now we're on to Holy Priest. Has a reactive playstyle with a focus on strong, quick, single target heals, but has less impressive group healing. Has good mana sustain thanks to the Lightweaver ability, some very powerful cooldowns, but not a great deal of good utility. This is a fairly intuitive and easy healing spec to get into, however, properly utilizing the multitude of low cooldown healing abilities regularly can be tricky for newer players. Has pretty mediocre group healing in situations where allies are forced to spread, but this is still an intuitive and easy healing specialization to jump into. Going to throw Holy straight into the A tier here, pretty easy to pick up. Okay, let's take a quick look at Holy Paladin now. A standard builder spender specialization. You build up your Holy power using Crusader Strike, Judgment, or Holy Strike, and then spend this resource on a variety of different heals. The melee damage component may be daunting for newer players, especially if you're used to the typical healer playstyle of standing away from the melee and throwing out heals. Reactive playstyle with a strong emphasis on spot healing and single target healing. Decent utility and crowd control with excellent damage reduction abilities. Does not have amazing mobility, and they can struggle to heal multiple spread allies quickly since their AoE relies heavily upon Light of Dawn. Overall, probably not quite as difficult as Mistweaver, but difficult enough that it will take new players some time to master. I'm going to throw Holy Paladin into the A tier. Okay, now let's talk about Restoration Druid. Now, Resto has become a bit more difficult to play in the War Within. Due to talent changes, you will find yourself spending more time maintaining and setting up your HOTS. They really are the ultimate proactive healing specialization, which can be a lot of fun to play, and they feel very strong currently on the beta. They will require more dungeon and class knowledge to know when to expect any potential damage spikes, since Resto Druid is not as reactive as, say, Holy Priest, but that comes with practice. Excellent utility and crowd control will probably be one of the top healer choices in Mythic Plus when the War Within goes live, but I feel like this is one of the hardest healing specs to learn, and I wouldn't suggest this for new players. I'm going to place Restoration Druid into the C tier. Quite difficult, not the most difficult. Okay, now let's take a look at Restoration Shaman. So the recent rework has significantly reduced the button bloat, which Resto Shaman had been known for, making it quite a lot more beginner friendly. They excel at healing stacked clumps of players, probably the best at this. Probably one of the easiest healers to pick up with a reasonably high skill ceiling. Will probably be one of the better healers in Season 1 of the War Within. Has extremely strong AoE burst healing with amazing utility and cooldowns, excellent mobility, and just overall toolkit. Doesn't have any major tank cooldowns outside of Spirit Link Totem, and the non-cooldown style of healing can be mana inefficient or tied to high cast times. Overall, I would have no problem suggesting Resto Shaman for new players, especially for Mythic Plus or raid healing. So I'm going to go ahead and throw Resto Shaman into the S tier. Arguably the easiest healing specialization to play in the War Within at the moment. This is also my pick for the best healing specialization for new players. Alright, now at the other end of things, let's take a look at Disc Priest. Arguably the most punishing healing specialization in the War Within. Mistakes will cost you dearly. Discipline relies upon healing players via dealing damage thanks to Atonement, but also has traditional heals and absorption spells. Balancing healing and dealing damage can be difficult at first, especially for newer players. Has a very high barrier to entry for raid healing, requires a lot of foresight and planning to heal effectively, has strong mobility and crowd control, and does have excellent single target healing. Definitely just not as chill to play compared to other healing specializations. There's not a lot more to say about Discipline. It's a difficult spec to pick up. Do not recommend for new players. Going to throw this one into the D tier, the hardest healing spec in the War Within. Alright, and finally, let's let's take a quick look at Preservation Evoker. This is a super fun healing specialization. The 30-yard range may be challenging for newer players facing situations with spread allies though. Has amazing AoE heals, especially in stacked group environments, but not great burst or single target healing. Has high damage output with strong defensives and very high mobility. Arguably the best stacked healing specialization in large part thanks to Dream Breath and Emerald Blossom. Again, this one requires some forward planning and dungeon/raid knowledge to maximize your healing potential. Has somewhat of a skill cap when it comes to deciding how you want to sequence your abilities and deciding when to be more or less proactive with your heals. Overall, a semi-challenging healing specialization, not the easiest to pick up with a lot of practice required to master it. I'm going to go ahead, place Preservation Evoker into the B tier, challenging but not insanely difficult. And that's about it guys, short but sweet today. Thanks for checking out the video and be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, I am Salty and I will catch you next time. Cheers.